Welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, on a very somber Tuesday morning after a 20-19 loss, a backbreaker for the Houston Texans. Their home opener, the hype was there. They had chances to win, and they just couldn't pull through. It was very upsetting as a Texans fan watching it play out. And, I mean, the highs and lows, it was an emotional roller coaster. They're the cardiac Texans for a reason. But at the end of the day, I thought we deserved better. We heard NRG Stadium. The boos were ringing loud enough to where you could hear it over the TV. So if you agree with me, if you think Texans fans deserve better than this, like the video. Hit the thumbs up icon. Because, yes, we're not a blue blood NFL franchise. But at the same time, Texans fans are passionate. Texans fans care. And when you call out, Texans fans showed up. They showed out on Monday night. And the team did not reciprocate their effort at all. Now, before we get into the overreactions, here's my Toro heads meter, what we use here on the channel. So if I give something 0 heads or fake news, not true. If I give something 1 Toro head, small shred of truth. If I give something 2 Toro heads, people are talking. 3 Toro heads, pretty likely. And if it's 4 Toro heads, H-Town, hold it down. It is 100% fact. So let's start off with this. DeMeco Ryans on the hot seat. I've seen it in my comment section. I've seen it on social media. I'm going to give it fake news for now. I'm going to give it fake news, and I'll tell you why. DeMeco Ryans led this team to 2 back-to-back AFC South championships in his first 2 seasons with this franchise. He also brought you a playoff win in your first 2 seasons as an NFL franchise. Or not with him as the head coach of the NFL franchise. And I think way too often, we are ready to just throw it all out. Throw out the baby with the bathwater. DeMeco Ryans is a good coach. Obviously, the Texans have had back-to-back winning seasons. The NFL is hard. That's not a fluke. That doesn't just happen by happenstance. He's set up a good defense, even though they got shredded a little bit. And obviously, the Texans are 0-2. But I'll tell you this. Texans were also 0-2 C.J. Stroud's rookie season before they came back and won the division. So let me know down in the comment section, how do you feel about DeMeco Ryans as the head coach? Give me your honest thoughts down in the comment section. Please be cordial down there if you can. I know a lot of tempers are flaring right now after this loss, but try to be honest. You can maybe be brutally honest with me. How do you feel about DeMeco Ryans as the head coach? For one, I'm still a believer in DeMeco Ryans. Maybe we just can't figure out the offensive coordinator or the offensive play caller. But at the end of the day, I think the Texans, they would be foolish to go back and try getting another head coach because we've seen how that road leads. We've had the David Culleys, the Lovie Smiths. We've had a lot of despair as Texans fans. I don't want to go back to that. The other coach, Nick Caley. Is he not ready to be an OC? Is he on the hot seat? Hell yes, he's on the hot seat. 3 Toro heads, and I was really close to giving it 4, but it's 2 games in. But at the same time, I get it. We can say, oh, he's a first-time play caller, first-time OC. Jeremy, you have to be patient with him. You have to be patient. All right, I get that. But this is a team that had championship I'm almost laughing as I'm saying this right now, producer Alper. Championship aspirations at the start of the year. And now we're 0-2. So you see how there's some sort of disconnect there where, yes, you might be new. You might be new to the job. You might be a new play caller. Figure it out. That's why you get paid the big bucks. That's why you got brought in. If you weren't ready for that, then you shouldn't have taken the job. And Nick Caserio shouldn't have hired his old buddy from New England. Because I don't want to hear, oh, coddle him. These are grown men getting paid millions of dollars to produce results. There's not enough results. Not enough results. On 3rd down, the Texans were 2 for 9. Multiple times in this game, Nick Caley had head-scratching moves. 3 times from the 1-yard line. A shotgun run, a fade route on the right side, and a rollout to the left with 3 guys running basically the same direction. And C.J. Stroud throws the ball out of bounds. I mean, you target Nico what? He gets 1 catch in the first half, 2 catches in the second half. You don't use your rookie Jayden Higgins at all. He gets 1 target, 1 catch. CJ Stroud basically has a 50% completion percentage. I'm sorry, Nick Caley. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is the big boys. This isn't playtime anymore. You don't get to go to the playpen. This isn't, we're going to coddle you. No, this is the big leagues. Time to produce. And this Texans offense, after 2 weeks, it's bottom 5 in the NFL. Bottom 5. In every sort, form, or fashion, however you want to dice it up, this Texans offense has been horrid. Horrid. You scored 2 touchdowns, and one of them might have been a gimme by the Bucs so they can get the ball back. Number 3, CJ Stroud. I just talked basically 50% completion percentage. Multiple reporters, multiple people. You can see him in the post-game press conferences. This is probably the most upset CJ Stroud's been since he's been a member of the Houston Texans. I'm going to give it 2 Toro heads that he's regressed. And the most frustrating part about it is at first I think it was just mentally not there, not prepared. Maybe that's partly on the OC and Nick Caley and not having a smart OC to help guide you. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe I'm being too easy on CJ. I still believe in CJ Stroud. I still think he's the franchise guy. But, man, you're making it really hard to defend you week after week. You can't ID the blitz. We're not getting out. I mean, the things that DeMeco said after the week 1 loss to the Rams, like, barely any of it changed this week. You didn't get out of the huddle quicker. I mean, how many times did we see the Texans with 1 second left on the play clock trying to snap the ball, barely getting it off to not get a delay a game? How many times did we see wide open blitzers going to CJ Stroud and his O-line and running back, Gumbawale, looked confused out of their mind? It was ridiculous. It's like we're watching high school JV out there. Like, these are things that DeMeco Ryans clearly said after the Rams game. Need to get to the ball quicker, need to ID the blitz better, need better blitz pickup. All 3 of those things were the main points of emphasis. You're telling me a week through practice, after a week after CJ Stroud said the offense was lollygagging at practice, the team wasn't prepared? That's just absolutely frustrating. Absolutely frustrating. I have more overreactions to this Bucs loss in just a moment, but shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Thursday Night Football. Here's the lineup I cooked up. Josh Allen, more on the passing yards. It's going against the Dolphins defense, of course. Khalil Shakir, more on the rushing and receiving touchdowns. I really like that. Demon picks normally are, tougher projections to, lay out there. I actually think this is a pretty good one, Alper. And then Tua Tagovailoa, 234.5 passing yards. They're going to be behind the whole game. They're going to be throwing the football. Expect this to be the more. You can use my lineup or go ahead and make your own. Just do it over on Prize Picks today. Download the Prize Picks app and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Get started today. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. So join the millions of users and sign up today. All right, overreaction after the Bucs loss. Another one. Are the Texans having sophomore slumps? I'm going to give this one as well. 3 Toro heads. Calen Bullock, dude, I thought you were going to be a top 5 safety in this NFL this year. Kamari Lassiter, very up and down. Like, I was expecting this secondary to take that next leap and be elite. I thought this secondary was going to be a no-fly zone. And this is partly on me. I can't even remember the guy's name who scored the first touchdown up against the Houston Texans.
It was Ryan Miller.
Ryan Miller. $20 if you can name where Ryan Miller went to college. Like, we're getting beat by, I mean, no offense, Ryan Miller. If you're watching, good game on you, man. No offense, but we're getting beat by this guy who was predominantly playing on special teams. Like, this Texans team, the sophomores on this team, I mean, that's Blake Fisher, a guy who's unplayable at the tackle spot that you drafted in round 2. The list goes on with guys that were drafted last year that have not really showed up this year for your Houston Texans. It is a frustrating, extremely frustrating first 2 games as a Texans fan watching this team, because you have such high expectations for a lot of these guys to take the next step, and we simply haven't seen it. Let me know down in the comments section, which Texans player has disappointed you the most this season? I think everybody's fair game. Maybe besides a handful of guys, maybe Nick Chubb, Will Anderson Jr., Derek Stingley, the only 3 that pop off the dome immediately. I mean, Nico Collins, I don't know if you can be upset with him. He's not getting the ball. He's not getting targeted. Let me know, though, which Texans player has disappointed you the most this season? All right, next up, Texans run defense. We're just going to show it off the bat. 4 Toro heads. It's a problem. This Texans run defense is a major problem. And what really grinded my gears, Will Kunkel tweeted it out. C.J. Gardner-Johnson after the game, they were in the locker room doing their press meeting, and, C.J. Gardner-Johnson was asked, how did it happen? Like, how did the Bucs, how were they so effective on the ground? And C.J. Gardner-Johnson turns around and he goes, were we watching the same game? They weren't shredding us on the ground. Maybe I got to go back and watch, but last time I checked, hold on one second, producer Alpert, is 5.6 yards a carry good? Oh, it's pretty good if you're an offense. It's pretty good if you're an offense to get 5.6 yards per carry. So if that's pretty good, I mean, this would mean Rachaad White at 6.5 yards a carry. That's pretty good. I would say that's pretty good. And then you got Bucky Irving, 4.2 yards a carry. Decent. But, I mean, he also did have, a couple carries where maybe he got stopped, and then he also was really effective catching the ball out of the backfield. But, CJ, I think we watched 2 different games, right? Because it was easy to get 5 or 6 yards. It is easy to get 5 or 6 yards. I at one point said if I was the Bucs OC, I would just keep on running until the Texans can stop it. Because y'all didn't. Y'all weren't able to stop it throughout the entire game. And, yeah, we say excuses all the time. Obviously, the Texans, this injury, that injury. The Bucs were without their starting 2 tackles. All-pro Tristan Wirfs, left tackle, out. Luke Gadecki, who they just signed to a massive extension at right tackle, out after the second drive of the game. And, I mean, my declamation of the best defensive line in the NFL. They got worked. They're obviously not the best defensive line, obviously not the best secondary. I don't know if this defense is top 5. I don't know if they're top 10 right now. Lastly, Texans season is over. Fake news. I told you earlier. The Texans rookie year with C.J. Stroud, they started off 0-2, made the playoffs. I believe the Texans are the last team to go 0-3 and make the playoffs, and I'm not saying tempt that with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But the season is not lost. You just played 2 of the top teams in the NFC, the LA Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Both very good teams. Obviously, a lot of overreactions, a lot of upset emotions after these first 2 games because we have the Texans at such a high standard this season. If it was 2 years ago, Texans fans wouldn't be pissed. They'd be like, oh, rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud, rookie head coach DeMeco Ryans. We're not expecting anything crazy. But with expectations, that comes responsibility and accountability. And the Texans don't have that right now. The Texans just simply don't. They don't have guys who are willing to step up to the plate and willing to sacrifice and help this team. I don't know who it is in the in the Texans locker room. I don't know who needs to step up and be a real leader on this team. But right now, it doesn't seem like we have great leadership. It just doesn't, in my opinion. Things have got to change. They've got to change quick. The season's not over. You're 0-2. We're on to Jacksonville. Let's get a win against an AFC South opponent, and let's get things back on the right track. That's all I got for you on today's show. Make sure to hit that sub button for daily Texans content. Hopefully, we get a Texans dub this week. We get back on the right track.